Hi everyone! Happy Friday! Yay, we made it. It's almost the weekend. It's beautiful here, so I'm excited to get outside this weekend and hang out with my kids. So welcome to my Friday live series, where I cover all things related to nutrition and autoimmune disease. So February is Heart Health Month. Yay! So did you know that cardiovascular disease is the number 1 killer for women? I know this is shocking. So for every woman that dies every year, 1 out of 3 dies from from heart disease, which is crazy to me. I didn't realize that number was so high. So what is concerning also is that people with certain autoimmune diseases are at higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease. And since systemic inflammation can eventually lead to heart disease, managing inflammation plays a huge role in protecting your heart. So today I'm going to tell you my top anti-inflammatory foods that you can include in your diet to bust inflammation and protect your heart, which is awesome. All right, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Annie Rubin. I am a registered dietitian nutritionist and owner of Annie Rubin Nutrition. It's a private practice that I run now virtually out of my home in Palo Alto, California. So I work with adults struggling with a host of symptoms from underlying inflammatory and autoimmune conditions that include pain, fatigue, digestive challenges, and basically an overall reduced quality of life. So in my work with my clients, I help them implement what I call a personalized nutrition roadmap that's designed to improve mobility, improve concentration, increase those energy levels, and ultimately lead a vibrant and fulfilling life. All right, so here's an easy question for you. Raise your hand if your heart health is something that worries you. I know it does for me. Especially with kind of the autoimmune connection and rheumatoid arthritis. That is one of the conditions that you have an increased risk of heart disease. So it's definitely something that is kind of on my radar and I'm, very concerned about. Okay, so before I jump into my discussion today, I just need to attach a disclaimer to this video that the information in today's talk is not a substitute for the diagnosis, treatment, or care of disease by a medical provider. This is for informational purposes only, so please consult your qualified health professional for any changes to your medical care. Okay, so starting with my top anti-inflammatory foods for your heart, the number 1 food, and this is kind of just a category, but it's plants. As Michael Pollan said so eloquently, eat food, not too much, mostly plants. I love this because it's so true. Plants should really be the main event at every meal. A lot of times when we come up with meal ideas, they center around the protein. What cut of meat are we going to have, or what type of fish, or, how are we going to cook our chicken? And, the vegetables and the fruits and kind of the whole grains are really the afterthought of the meal. So what if you flip that around and made the plants the star of the show? And why should you do this? Well, first of all, fruits and vegetables are full of antioxidants that protect your body against cell damage. They also contain lots of vitamins and minerals to help your body function properly. And they also contain fiber to support your gut, which is super important, especially for inflammation. So adults on average should get around 2.5 cups of vegetables and about 2 cups of fruit per day. So, making a large salad, throwing some spinach into a smoothie is kind of an easy way to incorporate plants in your diet. But some people do struggle with it. So the ways that I like to sneak things in, blending things into smoothies or sauces. So you can add like pureed carrots or spinach or spinach into tomato sauce when you have it with like spaghetti or, whatever you have your tomato sauce with, just as a kind of an extra vegetable boost. I love putting spinach in my smoothies because, again, it's a green. You're getting those extra greens and that extra fiber, but you can't actually taste it that much. So, and I think it adds a little sweetness too, which is really nice. And then, for a snack, grabbing a piece of fruit for a snack or slicing a banana on top of your oatmeal or, in the morning or whatever you have for breakfast. Doing that instead of, for a snack, instead of grabbing like chips or crackers, grab an apple. So just, simple ways to start incorporating fruits and vegetables into your diet. I did write a blog post on this. So if you go to my website, annierubin.com, I believe the blog post was back in August. They'll give you some more tips about how to eat more plants. Okay, the second thing are to kind of help your heart and reduce inflammation is focusing on specific healthy fats. So despite what the messaging was in the 1990s, fat is good for you and your body really needs it. It needs it to function. It needs it for hormone production, to support and insulate all your organs, to keep you warm. It's a component of all your cells. So you need fat in your diet, but the types of fat is what is really important. So monounsaturated fats that come from olives or olive oils. You can also find them in nuts and nut-based oils, avocado and avocado oil. So those are kind of the superstars of the Mediterranean diet. And this is a diet that has been studied extensively for its heart health benefits. So these fats can actually lower your bad cholesterol and they can help control blood sugar too. So what should you use for what? That's a lot of people ask me, should I be cooking with olive oil? What do you use avocado oil for? What about like nut and seed oils? Like how do I use them? So my rule of thumb, I use olive oils and nut oils for dressings and anytime you're doing very low heat cooking. When I'm doing high heat cooking, I use avocado oil. This is because avocado oil has a higher smoke point and is less likely to be oxidized or damaged during the cooking process. So when your oils oxidize, they kind of have like a rancid smell to them, but you're also creating free radicals and then you eat those. So the free radicals can actually damage your cells and cause inflammation. So again, I use avocado for high heat cooking and I'll save like my olive oils and nut oils for dressings and sauces and things like that don't have, a lot of heat in them. Okay, so the next thing is, again, it kind of pertains to fat, but you really want to balance out your omega-3 and your omega-6 fatty acids. And this is a little confusing, so bear with me. So your essential fatty acids, which are your omega-3s and your omega-6s. I've thrown that term around before on Instagram and in my newsletters, but your essential fatty acids are your polyunsaturated fats that your body cannot make on its own. So your body, can basically break down most fats and resynthesize them into other forms, but the omega-3 and the omega-6 fatty acids, your body can't make those. So you need to get them through food. That's why they call them essential. So the two types, omega-3 and omega-6, omega-3 have anti-inflammatory properties. So they are really good for busting inflammation. Omega-6 tend to have more pro-inflammatory properties. So again, they kind of can exacerbate inflammation. They do have some anti-inflammatory properties too, but they're more kind of well known for their inflammatory properties. So it's important to include both in your diet because you do need both. They have different functions, but the ratio of your omega-6 to your omega-3 is really important. So your typical Western diet has a ratio of, your 6-to-3 ratio is somewhere between like 12 to 16 to 1. And ideally we want to be closer to a 6-to-3 ratio of like 1 to 4 to 1. So almost parity, slightly more on the omega-6. So we are getting most of our omega-6 fatty acids from processed foods because soybean oil, cottonseed oil, corn oil, and other highly processed vegetable oils are very high in omega-6. So by removing processed foods, you can actually really drastically drop your ratio. And then you obviously want to increase your omega-3s. A lot of people struggle with omega-3s because you mainly find them in fatty fish like salmon and tuna and mackerel and sardines. And people who have an aversion to seafood or, like more mild tasting seafood, that's an issue, right? Because salmon can be has that like fishy flavor. I can't eat sardines. I've tried so many times, but I can't do it. So those are like your really, good sources of omega-3s. So again, you'll find them in the fatty fish. You can find them in nuts and seeds and also grass-fed meat and meat products. But you need to make sure that they're grass-fed. Grain-fed beef actually has higher omega-6 and less omega-3 than grass-fed. So another reason to kind of just be particular about your proteins. Okay, and then the last one is fiber. So fiber is specifically soluble fiber. So there's two types, soluble and insoluble. The soluble fiber has an amazing special function. So it can actually pull cholesterol out of your body. So that's why when you see on, oatmeal and Cheerios, I guess, they have the disclaimer that it can lower your cholesterol. That's because they have soluble fiber in them. So you do find soluble fiber in oats, peas, beans, apples, carrots, and citrus fruits. So in addition, fiber supports your gut health. So there was a really interesting study in 2019 where researchers linked gut health to cardiovascular disease. So the more you can do to support your gut and your digestive health, the better off you will be. So for so many other reasons, including autoimmune diseases and other inflammatory conditions, like it really all comes down to our gut. Okay, so just to recap today, we discussed kind of my top anti-inflammatory foods, and I guess that was a little misleading because, there are more categories, I guess, of things that you should try to include in your diet to protect your heart and reduce inflammation. So to help inflammation in your heart, you want to try to include more plants in your diet. You want to focus on those monounsaturated fats that come from olives and avocados and their respective oils. You want to balance out your omega-6 to 3 ratio by reducing processed foods and increasing your, the amount of fatty fish that you eat, nuts, seeds, and grass-fed protein, and then adding soluble fiber into your diet to help support your gut and reduce cholesterol. Okay, so for those of you who would like more help managing your autoimmune disease, digestive issues, or, just need help reducing inflammation, I would love to chat with you. I love helping people reach their health goals and just feel better overall. I know how hard it is to have an autoimmune condition that is just totally debilitating. And there's a lot you can do with your diet and lifestyle to fix that. So please go to my website or go to my Instagram bio for more information on how to reach me. I do also have a free ebook on my website that you can grab. It's my favorite AIP recipes, Autoimmune Protocol. Again, those are all low inflammatory foods and recipes that you can start including in your diet. It's great to have this time of year. And then lastly, in my Instagram bio, you can sign up for my weekly newsletter. I put out a lot of great information on managing inflammation with food and lifestyle. So you sign up, try it. You can unsubscribe if you find me annoying or, you just don't want to get my emails anymore. You won't hurt my feelings. But it comes every Thursday and I try to keep them short. So thank you so much for joining me today. We had a great audience. And you can catch me next week, same time, to learn more. To learn about another interesting link between food and autoimmune disease and inflammation. Happy Friday and have a great weekend.